Welcome back to Gooseberry Homestead. Reba here. So you guys, I was just out here moving some things around in the greenhouse, and I was moving out some of the peppers that are might still produce some peppers or that are still producing some peppers, but I'll leave my husband's jalapeno plant in here and my other ones that are in the back corner for now. But I moved the one that had the willow herb in it because the willow herb is like letting go tons and tons of little flowers, little seeds and stuff. So you can see it's still flowering, and it still has like all these little seed pods, and then they split apart and open like in 3 different directions. That's what all these little wispy parts are here, but there's all these little tiny fuzzy little seeds in there. And so I'm going to collect some of the seeds and save some of the seeds, and then I'm going to cut that plant out. It did really well. It really loved the greenhouse, and it produced a lot of seeds and that sort of thing. But they're getting in all of my container pots in here. So I've got little willow herbs coming up in all of the gooseberries down in here, and I need to try to pull out as many as I can. So they're all over, like all over. You can see them all in the bottom here, and then over here too. And then for whatever reason, I'm not seeing much in this one. And this was pretty darn close. Here's another one that was really close. And so I pulled out a bunch out of this one. And I'm just waiting to see if this pink lemonade blueberry will actually root. Who knows? It's still got green on it, so I don't know. I got a bunch of little jackfruit trees that have sprouted, which is really excellent. But I did move a lot of my gooseberry plants out here into the greenhouse, and they're kind of protected a little bit from the little white butterflies that come into the yard and lay all their little eggs that munch all of their leaves. So that's why they're in here, and we're still having some damage. Like this one here is completely stripped, and I'm like trying to sell them, but they don't have any leaves, and they're not going to really be growing without the leaves. They need to have that energy from the sun in order to push new growth, and they have to put energy into making new leaves in order to have the energy from the sun to get taller. So some of them are still on the small side, but hopefully I will keep them in the greenhouse. I think I'll move all the flats down to the bottom row, and or possibly the second row, and then move out the bigger plants out into the yard for the winter time, but leave the smaller ones in here, the ones that I'm planning on selling. And all these ones on this set are all of my keepers, and then these ones are going to be the ones that I'm going to be selling. Over here, these ones are a little bit more there's a little bit more to them. This one is looking really healthy. It's a really, really pretty one. So anyways, so that is the thought process here. I do plan on bringing maybe a couple of my fig trees into the greenhouse just in case they need a little bit of more time to ripen some of their fruit, but I need to move things around in here and get everything situated. I've got some of my extra shelves doubled up on the top one here so that I wouldn't lose them, and they're still in the greenhouse and I'm still able to get to them to use them. But in order to put them in here, I have to move the gooseberries out, because the bigger plants anyways, because they're too tall. And and then I can move in some of the other fig trees. But what I really wanted to show you guys is this right here. This is my raspberry latte. I have been waiting since January, you guys, to see signs of life. Look at that. Okay, I was really, really scared because I pulled this out of this pot a couple weeks ago, and I noticed that there was an area that looked, I literally, like, there was like root shock happening. There was going to be root shock happening with this one, and I was really, really worried. And I said, well, the damage is done. I'm just going to go ahead and pop it back in the pot, but I'm going to move it up a little bit closer to the soil surface so that it's not down so far into the container. So it was buried up to about here before. So I moved it up an entire inch higher. And then I packed everything back in because I saw that there was a node down underneath that looked like it was going to possibly, it looked like it was getting ready to push out this little section right here. And sure enough, it has. Now I'm still going to baby it. It's still going to stay here in this greenhouse. I'm going to leave it in this greenhouse for this winter. And I don't know if I will bring it inside. I might bring this one inside for the winter, but we're still getting these little weird growths all over it. Like, if you guys can see these little knobs sticking off of the, there, you can see it there. Off of it, it did this it was trying to push out a node here the entire time. It had an excellent root structure, and it was trying to push the entire time, but nothing was happening right here, and I was so bummed. I didn't think anything was going to happen. Okay, so this was my raspberry latte did this, my Blanche de Argentile did this, and so did my Auroric from the same supplier. But guess what? Every single one of those made it. In fact, the extra Aurorics that I ended up getting, those ones all died. And they were big, fat cuttings. So those ones all died. And so I was really bummed about that. But that's okay, because I still ended up with one. And it was exactly the one the Lord wanted me to have. So, yeah. So I'll be babying this one a little bit more. And bringing it probably into the garage, maybe, or into the house. And just keeping an eye on it this winter. Yeah, it did have, the roots were completely exposed. I just pulled, literally, I didn't even use a shovel. Or trowel. I just like pulled it, you guys, out of the dirt and was messing with it. And yeah, you don't want to normally do that because the plants generally will die and they won't make it. So I think I really got lucky because I think because the roots had been there for so long, possibly like since January and February, that might be the reason why that this one did okay. So, oh my goodness, look at that. I am so excited. So it's staying in the greenhouse so it can keep getting warmth from in here. And in fact, I'm going to be moving it over here. There's this other one that got root shock. This was my golden, or my rod grod. And this one I had root shocked it, and it pretty much died. I don't know if it's still all dead, but yeah. So I'm going to put my raspberry latte here. I'm very happy that it's actually has something happening now. I'm so happy. It's about 70 degrees in this greenhouse right now, which is really nice. Pacific Northwest growing. And yeah, so I need to do some watering. It looks like this gooseberry needs some water. I haven't watered in 2 days. I've let things just kind of be for a couple days and rest. And let me show you what I've been doing. Now, my neighbor moved and gave me a bunch of their stuff. And I did get rid of most of it. I didn't keep hardly any of it. I do have all of her cleaning supplies, but I need to move some things around. So the plan was this weekend to get this entire patio completely cleaned. Actually, I wanted it to be done by today. So who knows? Maybe I'll muster up all of my energy and just say, let's just do it and get this pile put away and get everything sorted. But let me show you over here what I have done. So as you guys know, we've moved the blueberries up along this side of the house right here, and then now I have a nice little row of my figs right here. I do need a water here. I need a water. I've got a line in between the little crack sections here. So I need to go through and water all of those, which shouldn't be too difficult. Here is one of the items, a couple of the items that the neighbor gave me. I don't need this, but I figure somebody else might. So she told me to just sell what I could. And I gave away a whole bunch to some of the neighbors, and then I'm selling some of the stuff. So yeah, so I've got this big old dog kennel, which we don't really need. If we needed one, I would need a little bit smaller one, like half the size for our dog. And so since we don't need something like this right now, I'm going to go ahead and sell it. She also gave me this really awesome bench here and this cooler, which is really great. I've already cleaned it up. I mean, it's still got, like a little bit of dirt, whatever, but Like, it's hard to open one-handed, you guys. But I got it all cleaned out. It has a little drain hole down here. So I've got it all cleaned out. I figured at any rate, it's all clean, ready to go. I'm leaving it unplugged for like a day or so that it can just make sure, like, I wiped it out and everything, so there shouldn't be any moisture in there anymore. But you never know. So I left it open so that it can just air out. And then I can put it away. And I'm thinking I'm going to put it with all of our camping stuff so that whenever we go camping, we have an extra cooler. I'm thinking this one will be brilliant for ice, for drinks and that sort of thing, because it's got the little opening cap here on the side. And then the other one we can put a few like edibles, because it's not as big of a cooler. But I have a feeling that when we go camping, we're going to be doing, I can't even talk. We're going to be doing a lot more drinking of beverages like water, and some of my kids are drinking pop and that sort of thing. And that, so I figure this is really great. It'll give us our own cooler. Our kids can open it without feeling like they're restricted to being able to have access to it. Our drinks we're not too critical in our family about things being super duper cold. So we generally do camping 1-2 nights. So the ice that would be in there, it would keep it cool enough for 2 days. And our family's used to drinking things that are room temperature, so it's not a big deal. So we don't need to have things super cold, but it is nice to have a nice cold refreshing drink. So there we go. And then our other coolers, I'm wanting to say maybe half the size of this, and it worked okay for this last camping trip we've done this year. And I'm thinking that one would be great for like vegetables, fruit, a couple meat items or whatever, but it'll free up space for food and that sort of thing, so that we don't feel like we have to put everything into just one little tiny one. And it'll give us a little bit more wiggle room. So there's that. So, and then this really awesome bench. Oh my goodness. I've already been using it and sitting on it. I do have my cleaning supplies here because I cleaned all of this, and I cleaned up the dog kennel and everything for sale. And then I'm keeping the garden bench because it is really nice. It's one of those plastic ones. So it's really, really nice. I'm going to maybe look to see if there's like something I can do to help keep it nice longer. There might be like some sort of a spray coating or something like that that'll help reflect, like combat like UV rays or something like that. But yeah, another thing in the garden that I've done besides all of that happening, and then acquiring some extra items, in mostly those are pretty much it. I'm going to be selling my coat rack and this clothing stand that I had with our washer machine losing the hose this week, and we're having to put it back on. I was actually using those, and I won't need them come Tuesday because my little pop-up tripod yard or patio, indoor, outdoor use, it's one of those little clotheslines, little round clothesline. So I won't need these to dry things on anymore. So I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of them. Let them be a blessing to somebody else. I'm not selling them for a whole lot. I think I list them for like $1 each. So people better grab them up. That's what I'm saying. I'm listing things to sell. I want them out. I want them gone, so that I don't have to look at it no more. But I did move all of my figs, you guys. Most of them, all the way up under here next to the side of the house. So something that I noticed, you guys, was that the figs were growing way better up along the edge over here next to these trees right here. And so what I did was I moved them over here to do an experiment to see if they'll grow better here. I also gave them slowly fertilizer like a few weeks ago, about three and a half, almost 4 weeks ago. And that has really helped a lot of the figs here to start actually growing. Some of them are growing a lot more vigorous than others. And so I wanted to really give them all a really good shot at growing really good. Also, I think that this is a really good spot for me to keep them even during the winter, because they'll be getting some warmth from the house, but they will be protected from really getting snowed on up along this section here. So I'm thinking I'm gonna go ahead and leave them right here for the winter time. And this side of the house gets morning sun, and then it gets late afternoon sun. And in the late afternoons is where we are the most hot, so all the heat is coming, and so they get a lot of warmth then too throughout the day. And so I just figured, since they're young figs, all of these have just been started from cuttings this year for the most part, that this would be really good for them to be over here. I noticed some of them just really struggling over in this other section right over here. In this section here, it just seemed like some of them were doing way better than others, but some of them were really just struggling. Now, I did leave a couple smaller ones right here because they're in the shade, and since I noticed the stuff growing really well right through here in this section here, that I went ahead and left these ones here. These ones are going to be for somebody, and so I left them here so that they can do their growing. And then I moved all my other miscellaneous trees and bushes and plants up along here. And so I have a variety of variegated bushes and curly willow and flowers and goji and the wild roses, and I have them all up here, and I've got my mint growing here, and everything's kind of just growing crazily and wild over here, and I really love it. So and my stevia is really like tall here, so I need to harvest that again and hang it up to dry, and then get ready to put it into some alcohol in order to create some of my own homemade stevia. So that is the plan with growing the stevia this year. My stevia that I grew from seed is still in the greenhouse, really small. My black bamboo that's growing from seed here. And the key to growing bamboo is to soak your seeds for 24 hours or so. Mine were just a little bit over 24 hours, and they are growing really nice. So these are black. There's going to be black bamboo. As you can tell, they're kind of got a purple tint to them right now, but in a couple years they'll turn and be more black. I noticed the fertilizer has really helped my Rose of Sharon get darker leaves from this pale color, so it has darkened. I'm very, very happy with that. So the fertilizer is going to be something I'm going to be going to a little bit more. I do really like, since I'm an amateur, I guess, with fertilizing, I have decided to go ahead and start using the slow release. And I did get some other kind that you mix up to put in, but I'm hesitant to use it because I don't want to like burn my roots and my plants and that sort of thing. So I think I'm going to stick with a slow release for now. And I do have some things I think I got from M.I. Gardner. I think it's like worm casting tea solution type stuff. I think I might go ahead and use that because I feel like that's going to be a little bit more organic, a little bit more something that's a little bit more safe to use. So I think I will use that. But as far as some of the stuff that you buy in the store, I ended up taking some stuff back to the store this week because I was really, really worried that I was going to do more harm than good to my plants by using it. And so plus I just don't have time to be doing trips back and forth with a watering can with all the plants that I have to water them, and I want to make sure that all the goodness goes to them. So I'm thinking slow release is the way to go. So I will need to replace those and get some slow release. So anyways, I'm going to get off of here. It is in the evening now. We've got the sun, the golden sun on the trees now. And my son has come out to play with the stroller that I'm selling, that my neighbor gave me. I only took a few things to sell, and then most of the stuff I gave away. I did keep the little step stool that she put in there, and I kept some of the laundry baskets and one little garbage can that I'm going to use in the laundry room because she was using it to catch all of her dryer lint, and I thought that was really nice, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to use it for the same exact thing. And so and it's just a smaller trash can, like something that you would put in a restroom, but it had like a really nice little design on it, and it's a real neutral, like a brown color, and I just really liked it a lot. So yeah, so I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna do some watering, and then I'm gonna put some things away out in the garden shed, and yeah, and I think I'm going to, all that white fabric right there, you guys would have probably seen it in one of my last videos. That is going, I just decided I'm just gonna throw it away. I'm just gonna throw it away. I know that's really wasteful. Please don't be too harsh on me. I am a borderline hoarder, and it's really hard for me to do this because it's so wasteful. But at the same time, it did get kind of wet in the garage, and you know what? Time is money, and I just don't have time to be washing everything all the time and to be doing all the things. So I would rather put more time into watering my plants and that sort of thing, and making sure that those things are healthy, so that I can have a future with my cuttings in the future. With that being with my elderberries, to my figs, to the gooseberries, to any of the plants that I can sell cuttings of, that's what I'm planning on doing. So anyways, you guys, thanks so much for watching. Love what you grow what you love. Comment, like, and subscribe. Click that bell button. I think I might have already said that. Anyways, it's getting late. And have a wonderful one, you guys, and God bless. Bye.